Thank you. All right, it is 6 p.m. So I'm going to call this virtual meeting, Planning Commission meeting order. Good evening, and on behalf of the City of Independence, welcome to this virtual Planning Commission meeting for November 16th, 2021. For the convenience of those participating in tonight's meeting, I'd like to remind you all in attendance, both commissioners and the public, to please mute yourself when you are not speaking to prevent distraction and unwanted disruption. Staff will be enforcing this and monitoring it throughout the evening for questions and during the public hearing. During the public hearing portion of the meeting, staff will call on those who have requested to speak in the order that you signed up. Following that, anyone else who wishes to speak will be recognized. For those who wish to speak tonight, please remember to address all comments and questions to the chair and keep your comments brief and on point. If you agree with the previous comment, simply indicate your agreement. To expedite tonight's meeting, I'll ask all of those of you who wish to testify or believe that you might to please be sworn in. So all of those who are wishing to speak tonight, if you can, turn on your video so that we can see you, or unmute so that you can say I do.
No.
Thank you. Those who wish to speak tonight, if you'll please raise your right hand. Tell the whole truth before this commission. If so, please answer I do. Miranda, hopefully we caught everybody before that. If I missed anybody, somebody make sure that I notice before they get ready to speak so we can swear them in, because it's hard to see tonight for some reason. Okay. I want to remind commissioners that we're doing our new consent agenda for the first time tonight. So you'll notice the minutes are at the top of the agenda. So we will take a motion on the consent agenda. If there's something that you wish to pull out, you're welcome to do that. So I will take a motion.
Madam Chairman, excuse me. Usually in consent agenda, we take all the items on the consent agenda and vote on them at one time.
Okay. Okay, so we'll take a motion to vote on the consent agenda.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Preston.
in the matter of the consent agenda, I move for approval as presented.
Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you, Commissioner Ferguson. Okay, we are ready for roll. Okay.
Commissioner Ferguson,
Here.
is that a yes?
Yes.
Commissioner Michelle,
Yes.
Commissioner Nisbet,
Yeah.
Commissioner Wiley,
Yes.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Preston,
Yes.
and Chair McLean.
Yes, the consent agenda has passed. The next item on our agenda is a case that will be continued, case number 21-200-08. It'll be continued to the December 14th, 2021 meeting. So I will take a motion on that to continue that case.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Preston.
in the matter of case number 21-200-08, special use permit 9300 East US 40 Highway, I move that this case be continued to December 14th, 2021.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Bryce.
This is my first one.
Yay! All right, City, we're ready for a vote.
Okay, Commissioner Ferguson,
yes,
Commissioner Michelle. Mitchell. Hill. Guess we lost him. Commissioner Nesbitt,
Yeah.
Commissioner Wiley,
Yes.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Preston,
Yes.
and Chair McLean.
Yes. The case number 21-200-08 has been continued to December 14th. Thank you. Okay, next on our agenda is case number 21-100-15. We are on to the public hearing portion of this, rezoning for 2400 South Lee Summit Road. A request by GMC 2400 LLC to rezone the southern portion of the property at 2400 South Lee Summit Road from 01 Office Residential to C2 General Commercial. Staff, will you give us a report, please?
Yes, the property owner, well, Scott Cox, the property owner, is actually not here tonight. I don't believe on this call, but the owner is here. He seeks to rezone the southern half, what was the southern half of this property at 2400 South Lee Summit Road from 01 to C2. In 1985, when this property was rezoned from single-family residential to commercial, the northern half of the lot was on C2, with the southern half was CR1, which is now 01 office. The southern part, from what I could tell from the records, was zoned 01 as a budded residential property to the south. The building, which was constructed a couple of years later, was centered in the middle of the property, so the zoning line split the building equally between the two districts. Uses in the southern part of the building have been limited to offices, personal improvement like hair salons, and other light services. The northern part, on the other hand, is seen like donut shops, martial arts studios, that sort of thing. We had an application which follows this application, actually, for a suite in the south half of the building. They needed the C2 zoning, so the applicant is seeking to rezone the south portion of this property to C2. It's a brick building. It contains about 7,500 square feet of rental space on the main floor, divided equally into 6 units, and there's 3 units on the either side of the central, with 3 units on either side of a central hallway. There's also a 3,000 square foot second floor position in the center of the building, which has been used for offices. Parking is situated around the front and side of the building. Access is onto Lee Summit Road and onto a private drive, just north of the building. Okay, here is the location of the site. It's in the red circle. There's the Salvation Army building just north. There's a Quick Trip across the street to the east, and a CVS pharmacy there on the corner. This is the zoning for the property. As you can see, the line's not exactly straight there, but it is not exactly in the right place, but it shows that the southern half is that light pink color, which is now 01. This is the comprehensive plan. Shows basically commercial uses for the property, with the light, kind of a medium yellow, being residential property. This is the aerial photograph of the site. It shows that measured off, it just splits the building almost right down the middle, with the C2 being on the northern part and the 01 being on the southern part. This property was actually, I think, 35 feet wider originally, and that's why it's not exactly centered on this photograph, because the owner sold off the northern 30 feet or so that driveway, which accesses Hy-Vee there, can be put in, and he has access to that. So he went back to the original design, it would be split, but now it's sort of 60/40. But the line, the zoning line is still right down the middle. I measured from the south property line north that distance, and that's where it came out. Okay, this here, we're on the southeast corner of the property looking at this building. So everybody's seen this as they go up and down South Lee Summit Road. Again, this is a strip center. There's like 3 units on each side of that central hallway, which we'll see in a minute. And then there's office space above that's accessed by doorways and stairways in the central corridor. This is from the other side looking to the southwest. It shows the donut store and then a karate studio, which actually takes up 2 units. And then there's 3 units on the south side of the building. This is the central hallway that splits the building into 2. You can basically enter into the upper units through this hallway. Here we're looking west down that central drive, service drive to Hy-Vee, which is just to the right here. You can see the this shopping center, the strip center accesses this drive. This is the building that's immediately north of the center, a former jewelry store that's currently vacant. Looking north up Lee Summit Road to the intersection with 23rd Street up there with the lights. This is across the street to the northeast. Quick trip. And directly east from this property is a city-owned and maintained detention basin. And that's what the white fence around it, the basin is for. Privacy or safety, security. This is the house on the east side of Lee Summit Road, just to the southeast of the site. Here we're looking south down Lee Summit Road. And the property is to the east here on the right, excuse me, to the left on the right. This is the house that's immediately south of this center. This driveway that you see at the bottom of the slide is actually a part of the driveway that and parking area that serves the shopping, the strip center. Oops. And and staff does recommend approval of this rezoning application.
Thank you. Staff, do we have someone to speak to us about this, or?
Mr. Cox, are you here? Okay, well, Chad is the owner of the property and he can answer any questions. Chad, are you here? You can unmute yourself and speak, please.
Hey, hello, madam. This is Chad Gunna, so owner of 2400 South Lee Summit Road.
Can you
So
give us your name and address, please?
Sure. My name is Chad Gunna. My full name is Chandrasekhar Reddy Gunna, and I'm representing it's GMC Limited LLC. So I'm the owner of 2400 South Lee Summit Road. So I purchased this property. Like, I agree with whatever Stuart said. So when I purchased this property a few months ago, and I was not aware that building is in 2 different zones. So as Stuart mentioned, currently the southern part of the building is office residential zone and the northern part is in C2 zone. So recently a unit in the southern half of the building was tentatively leased to a body shop, which requires it to be rezoned to C2 before they can start the business. So we submitted the request to change the zoning of southern side of the property from O1 to C2.
Thank you. Commissioners, do you have any questions of the owner of this building or for staff? I don't hear any. So is there anyone on the call that would like to speak for this project? Is there anyone who would like to speak against this project? Hearing none, the public portion of this case is closed. Commissioners, any more discussion, or I would entertain a motion?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Preston?
this appears to be a rather clean case. I, therefore, if there are no further comments by any of the other commissioners, I'll make a motion that in the matter of case number 21-100-15 rezoning, GMC 2400 LLC, the property will be rezoned from O1 office residential to C2 general commercial be approved as presented.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Young. Okay. We have a motion and a second. City, will you take the vote, please?
Commissioner Ferguson,
yes,
Commissioner Michelle,
Yes.
Nesbitt,
Yeah.
Commissioner Wiley,
Yes.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Preston,
Yes.
and Chair McLean.
Yes.
All right.
Case number 21-100-50 has been approved. Thank you. And I'm glad we cleaned that up for you.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay. Next case, 21-200-07, special use permit at 2400 South Lee Summit Road, Suite 150. A request by Lacey Greer for a special use permit for body art services. Staff, ready for the report.
Okay, this is a request by Lacey Greer of Pegasus Tattooing and Arts for a special use permit for a whoops, sorry.
Your pictures are gone.
Oh. Hang on. Let's see. Oh, yeah.
Love, hate technology.
Yeah, I do. Okay, oh, there's everybody.
Hello.
Okay, now can we see? Can you see?
We can see us.
Oh, all
We can
right.
see our bunch of squares.
How about that?
There we go. We're back.
Okay. All right. Lacey Greer with Pegasus Tattooing and Arts seeks a special use permit to operate a body art shop in a Suite 150 in this building that we just discussed here on South Lee Summit Road. Let's see. You can see from the area where it is, it's in that building that we just discussed. And again, this is the zoning now. This, assuming the council approves this application, this rezoning application, the zoning line will change and it'll all go red to C2. This is a comprehensive plan again. Okay, and this is the star shows the approximate location of the building, of the space in the building, which is actually, I believe it's the first or second unit immediately south of the center of the building, which is zoned, which would be zoned O1. And then that's her logo. This is the building again. And that's the unit that she's leasing. It's actually the center unit of the three that are on the south end of the building. Ms. Greer has been a licensed tattoo artist for about 14 years. She's been working out of the Crossroads District down in Kansas City. She's decided to open her own business here, Pegasus Tattoo and Arts, in this suite here in this building. It contains about 1,250 square feet. She states the space suits her needs and will be only a minor cosmetic improvements to the inside of the unit. For the time being, she will be the sole artist, but she may rent out of space to other artists in the future. As you can see from the photographs, this photograph and others, the other spaces have been rented out to a hair salon and a insurance office, and then a donut shop and a karate studio. Right now, there are 5 locations in this city. There is a maximum of 8. So this would be the 6th location. So we could have 2 more applications. We increased in 2020 as our population exceeded 120,000. And really that was it. Most of the slides or pictures were shown in the last presentation. So this shows the actual space. It's pretty typical for a small strip center. You got the door and glass, and that's about it. There's nothing in, and from what I could tell, there's really nothing really in there. It's just an office area. And the applicant is here to answer any questions and make a brief presentation.
Thank you. Commissioners, do you have any questions before we bring the applicant forward of staff? Okay. Forward, and I'm assuming you were sworn in, and if you could give your full name and your address, your residence address, that would be great.
Hi, my name is Lacey. Can you guys all hear me okay?
Perfectly, thank you.
Okay, I've never done one of these before, so
State your full name and address, please.
Okay, my name is Lacey Danielle Greer, and my address is 1734 North Pleasant Street, Independence, Missouri 64050.
Thank you. What would you like to tell us about this exciting new adventure for you?
Well, I've been tattooing for a long time, and just a few things all kind of lined up to where it seemed like this was kind of the next natural step for what I needed to do with my career. I bought a house in Independence a couple years ago, and since then I've kind of just been weighing out my options as far as working closer to home, and have just kind of I guess saw this spot at the right time, and I was just decided that I needed to take the step and do it. I've opened 2 successful shops on my own before, well, with the help of others. One in Sedalia, Missouri, and then one in Kansas City. So I guess I was just ready to kind of try it on my own for real this time. And this spot opened up at the right time. And yeah, I guess that's kind of what has been leading up to it.
Great. How many people will you be able to accommodate?
So we're not going to be doing piercing or anything like that. I plan on it being a pretty custom only, somewhat private type of tattoo studio. I think the most I could fit in there total would be 3 artists. But right now I'm planning on probably just being alone for a little bit, just because I want to be really particular about who I bring in to work with me. So I would say max 3 people would probably fit in there.
Thank you. Commissioners, does anybody have any questions of Ms. Greer?
Madam Chairman, I forgot to mention that staff does recommend approval of this application with the conditions that it's restricted to this Suite 150 at this address, and the applicant will continue to maintain all applicable city and state licenses and comply with all health regulations.
Thank you. Applicant, do you agree?
I didn't hear you on that, sorry.
The stipulations from the city are that the special use permit is restricted to unit 150. And the second part would be that you obtain and maintain all applicable city and state licenses and comply with health requirements. Do you agree with those?
Yes.
Perfect, thank you. Commissioners, any questions before we close the public hearing of Ms. Greer or staff?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
Ms. Virginia. Ms. Greer, is the signage on the building going to remain and conform to the rest of the signage that's on the building?
As far as I know, yes, there's already like an awning that they use for signage on the front of the building. And then out kind of by the road, they have a sign that has like everybody's names on the building that is shared. So I'm assuming my information would just be on the blank spot that's already there for it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioners, any other questions?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I just have a comment to say that I appreciate this applicant's experience, and I appreciate that she's essentially coming from the crossroads to Independence, because I think far too often we hear from going to Independence to the crossroads or Independence to somewhere else. And I very much appreciate that she's staying home, and tell your friends.
Nice. All right. Is there anyone on this call who would like to speak for this case? Anyone on this call who would like to speak against this case? Assuming none, I'm going to close the public hearing portion of this. Commissioners, do you have any more questions of the applicant or the staff before we close the public hearing?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
in light of staff's recommendation and the enthusiasm of Commissioner Young, I'll make a motion in the matter of case number 21-200-07, special use permit at 2400 South Lee Summit Road, Unit 150, be approved as presented.
Thank you.
With
So,
conditions?
with stipulations, correct?
With the stipulations as so stated.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Michelle. Okay, we are ready for the vote.
Commissioner Ferguson,
Yes.
Commissioner Michelle,
Yes.
Commissioner Nesbitt,
Yeah.
Commissioner Wiley,
Yes.
Commissioner Young. Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Preston
Yes.
and Chair McLean.
Yes. Case number 21-200-07, special use permit for 2400 Lee Summit Road, Suite 150 has passed. Congratulations, and I agree. Thanks for bringing it home.
Thank you.
Best of luck. Okay, next case is case number 21-400-13, short-term rental 1511 South Scott Avenue. Tim Blackwell requests approval to run a short-term rental. Staff, we're ready for the report.
First of all, Stuart, could you unshare yours? Okay.
You got it? Okay.
Is it up? There we go. Okay. There we go. Slideshow. You aren't are you getting a subtitle window?
We're seeing the case, the first, the cover slide for the case.
Okay. I'm not sure what.
It's like the very first page for case number 21-413 for the short term.
Okay. I think it's showing closed captioning. Are you seeing that?
Yep.
I'm not sure how to turn that off. Well, here we go. Hold on a second.
Now I know it's subtitles. I was confused.
I don't know how to turn that off, so it's going to be on there, I guess. Okay. The proposed rental property contains a 877 square foot home. It is a small bungalow sited on a narrow lot and has a small patio and a partially fenced rear yard. The property will continue to be the home of the applicant, but on weekends and on holidays, it will be available for rent. This business will be advertised on the Airbnb website. Number of guests. The applicant's letter indicates that the home contains 2 bedrooms. However, at this time, only 1 bedroom for 2 adult guests will be made available. Parking. There is room to park 3 vehicles in the driveway and 1 on the street. However, the existing gravel driveway will have to be repaved. Concerns about loud, unruly guests and complaints. Airbnb guests are vetted and the owner has the right to deny stay for any reason. The owner will report information to be added to the guest profile. The owner will post the house rules prohibiting loud parties. Further, the owner should provide neighbors with contact numbers in case of any disturbances on the property or provide other means to address immediate emergencies and disturbances. The property has been inspected by the fire inspector and has passed the initial short-term rental fire life safety inspection. According to city records, there are no other short-term rentals on this block, and it is in compliance with the density limitations of the UDO. Trash from the property will be collected by Ted's Trash Service. So as you can see, this proposed rental bungalow home here is located near the intersection of 15th and Scott. It's in an area zoned R6, R12, two-family residential, but is mostly abutted by single-family homes in the neighborhood. Although there's a apartment community up on the, on Cuttingham there to the northwest, or northeast, I'm sorry. The comprehensive plan sees the whole area as residential neighborhoods. And you can see within a block and a half, there is an existing short-term rental over on the street to the southeast. They're just east of Forest. So this is an overhead of the property, so you can see the existing gravel driveway that's there, the pull-off area up front, the large backyard, and the porch area that's fairly close up to the street. And here's a picture of the property looking head-on to the east, across the street, across Short. These are neighbors to the southeast. This is across the street to the southwest. And this is looking back up the street toward 15th. So staff does not recommend approval of this home business. The applicant objects to the requirements that the existing gravel driveway be paved and that there be a nearby property manager when the applicant is out of town. If the Planning Commission decides to approve this application, though, it should be with the following conditions. First, the short-term rental shall obtain a business license in accordance with the city code and comply with Article 3, Chapter 5 of the city code. Occupation license numbers shall be listed on all advertisements and online platforms. The business must comply with all safety and other standards established in Section 14.420 of the city code. The maximum occupancy of the premise is limited to 2 adults. That's 4 people total. You had kids with you. Number 4, the applicant shall pave the existing gravel driveway. 5, the applicant cannot stay in their home while it is used as a short-term rental. 6, the applicant shall provide an off-site manager when out of town. And 7, the owner of the rental will provide means to address immediate emergencies and disturbances on the property. And that concludes my presentation. I'm ready to take any questions you may have.
Thank you. Commissioners?
Question, Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Preston?
Where in city code is it cited that a short-term rental must have paved driveway?
Are you asking
Yes, sir.
me? I don't believe that it's explicit in the code that you have to, but it's been, I believe, the policy so far. We've had at least 1 or 2 other applicants that had similar situations that we required that of them for their application. I know there's one just south off Winter Road that where you entered from that alley. And let's see, the other one was up toward Jones. I don't remember where exactly, what street that was on. And we put a condition in there that that you had to have a paved driveway as well. So, I mean, you can add conditions other than what's explicit in the code and as conditions, and I think that's sort of been our precedent so far to require this of earlier properties.
But what is the basis of the requirement?
The
Other than the fact
is,
that it's been requested and well, everyone has capitulated to that, but where is our legal basis for requiring it?
well, I mean, our legal basis is that you are, you know, making my mind went blank. A condition to do so. The theory behind it is, well, it's a commercial business in a sense because you're operating it as a vacation home or whatever, and just like any other business here in the city, you know, we generally require those businesses to have paved parking areas.
But the legal basis that I'm searching for, and I think, Counselor, will you speak to that, please?
I can, Commissioner. Thank you. Sarah Carnes, Assistant City Attorney for Independence. Commissioner, what I think you're trying to get at is that it's not explicit in the code. However, a short-term rental is a use regulation, and the city can and has require those types of uses to meet current city code. Not only that, I would also tend to lean towards it might be a safety factor. With gravel driveway, you're going to rent out to somebody who's got some sort of disability or in a wheelchair. We want to make sure that there's a safety factor. If you remember, Commissioner Preston, we wouldn't give a short-term rental to someone who had a dead tree in their front yard because of the safety issue. I think this kind of has a similar idea that there's a danger factor, and we want that fixed before we give them permission to run the short-term rental.
Therefore, the basis for requiring the paved driveway is within the discretion of this commission for purposes of ensuring the safety of clients of this short-term rental. And
Yes,
we're on legal footing to do so.
Yes, I believe so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam
Go ahead.
to the best of the city's knowledge, has there ever been an approval on short-term rental where the property is the home and will remain the home of an applicant?
Yes, it has been the case. However, this has been different in that with this case, he was going to be continuously living there and it was just on weekends. The other case, I believe it would be like a 6-month period where like for 6 months it would be a rental home. And then for 6 months it would be occupied, I think, in that other case. And of course that makes it easier to have some sort of management team there in the interim for that 6-month period.
But if I may, Commissioner Young, there has been a case where there's been intermittent use by the owner and intermittent use by the client. And that owner and that family member moved out of the home into another location. And after the short-term rental, they returned to the home. So yes, to your question.
Okay, so, but there's never been one where the homeowner is there Monday through Friday and then maybe the occasional weekend he's somewhere else.
Not that I'm aware of.
Me
Okay.
either. I think one of the other ones was a woman who had moved away from the state and then used it for family when they were visiting, but had a management company on site or in the area. If there's, are there any questions, Stevie, before we bring the?
I've got a question.
Yeah.
Just for a point of clarity, it is a requirement of short-term rentals in the city of Independence to have property management engaged. Can city staff clarify that?
Part of the UDO that we passed, right?
I think it had something to do with, the concern was when you had someone that was from, and it was, I think it was when we were initially putting together this ordinance, I think there was a concern from Mr. Preston actually about out of town and what we were going to do when there was out of town people that had a, it's one thing if you live in Lee Summit and you operate it in Independence, then you're able to, function as the property manager and owner both, because you can commute to take care of a problem within a certain period of time. But if you're out of state somewhere, I mean, that's totally impractical. And that was the reason why the need for a property manager was important for out of state situations or when you're out of town. And of course, this owner will live on this property, but of course will be, I believe, in Jefferson City on the weekends. So is that local or not? So
I would.
We should let him fill that in, I guess, when he.
I would assert that is at least my initial position, is that it would not be local. But more importantly, for the record, within this hearing, I would just like a clarification from the city staff that for when the house is or the short-term rental is being rented and the property owner is not within the local area, that it has been the city's policy and is a requirement of the UDO that property management be engaged. And I just would like that stated for the record.
I know it's been city policy. I'd have to look it up in the UDO to see if it's actually in the UDO. Stuart, are you aware of whether it's actually in text?
Or, similarly to the last question, if the assistant city attorney can weigh in as a matter of precedent and for various reasons, that there is a justifiable reason why we're requiring this.
Yeah, it would be the exact same reasons I stated before. Under the definition of short-term rental, it talks about a property owner or a property management company. It doesn't make the distinction if it's a property owner who's out of town. There needs to be somebody to contact to take care of any emergencies or any of the like. I think that kind of falls back on our kind of health and safety powers that you all have and the city has for those concerns. That's probably why it came up initially, I would assume.
Understood. I just wanted it equally clarified for the record.
Thank you. That's very helpful. All right, are we ready for the applicant to come forward? Is the applicant on and available to answer any questions? Miranda, is Mr. Blackwell on? I don't know.
Thank you. Yes, I'm here.
Okay, perfect. Can you please state your full name and your address, please?
Certainly. My name is Tim Blackwell. I'm at 1511 South Scott Avenue in Independence.
Thank you. Is there anything you would like to tell us about this project or anything you would like to clarify that's already been discussed?
Yes, thank you very much for this opportunity. There's a number of things I would like to address. First of all, I've had numerous conversations with staff, probably about 5. I've been very clear about what I'm trying to do. I got a job in Kansas City back in May. I'm from Jefferson City. We have caretaker responsibilities for family in Jeff City. We're just doing this as an interim thing, hopefully. My wife is taking care of grandchildren. Our little granddaughter's father was shot and killed when she was 2 months old. She's turning 3 just about. And so this is not a long-term plan even. We just thought, well, let's just get a little house. I can live and work in Kansas City when I need to. My employer promised doing some remote work and then reneged on that, unfortunately. So, you know, we contacted a realtor. We told him what we planned to do. He is a lifelong Kansas City area resident. I've contacted him recently about these requirements from the city. He said, I've never heard of anything like that. You know, we've invested $120,000 in buying this 2-bedroom, 1-bath house. I'd love to have a driveway. I think we've spent a lot of money in this market, unfortunately, to buy this property. I'm really object to lack of due process. That I tried to log on and go to a meeting. It said that it was unavailable, and so I was unable to link on video. I did call, and then that got disconnected. So hopefully, I do want to participate here, but I'm sorry that I don't have video available. I would love to show you the home, and it's been completely renovated. I have spent a ton of money on nice decor. You know, my wife and I, she's had breast cancer. She's turning 65. I've been diagnosed with diabetes. I had surgery yesterday, but we're just trying to make a living, trying to support our granddaughter. We are investing in the community here. My parents used to live in Independence, so I thought this was a great area to come. I mean, Mr. Frazier from the fire department came in. We passed inspection with flying colors, and he commented on how nice the home was, how well it was renovated. So frankly, I'm sorry to say, I'm upgrading this neighborhood considerably. The houses here are small, they are nice, but I think we're nicer than anything on the block. I paid $400 in an application fee. I paid $40 for a commercial grade mounted fire extinguisher from Home Depot, as opposed to a $20 fire extinguisher that I could have gotten at Walmart. You know, I have invested in this. I was not told about any driveway requirement when we start on this. I was not told about any manager requirement until the report came out. It wasn't discussed. And I did not object to that, for the record. It is not feasible for me to do a driveway. I don't know if the pictures showed you, because I was not able to see what was shown tonight, but the gravel driveway runs the length of the house, you know, through the front yard length and then the whole length of the house, which the house is fairly long for the size. I can't afford to put a gravel driveway in, and I differ with the counselor. I don't see any safety purpose in having the driveway. A dead tree on the property is an obvious safety problem. There is also a parking pad in front of the house, which is gravel. If anything, I could possibly pave that. There would be a parking spot there, but it's not feasible for me to pave it. I'd love to have a paved driveway with winter coming for the price I paid for the house, but it doesn't even have a garage or a paved driveway. As to the manager, you know, that was never discussed. There may have been a question, am I having somebody that could be contacted? And my response is, I'm new to this city. You know, I don't know people here. And yes, to rent it out just on weekends, which is what many Airbnb owners do. You know, they rent out an apartment, some do a bedroom in their home, but Most that I've seen lately, they will rent out like a guest suite, an apartment in their home or a condo that they have. You know, I guess if I were required, I could get some sort of property manager, but I don't see that it's practical only to rent out just a couple days a week on weekends, you know, when I'm not here. So, you know, again, I was not told about that requirement. It was, and if it is not in city code and it is not in statute somewhere, you know, I don't see legally how the city can require me to do that. They talk about it being a policy and so forth, but, you know, I'll do what I have to do. But I do want to state a little bit about Airbnb. I think maybe it's misunderstood. It was mentioned in the report and in the comments by Phil. You know, guests they have to join. They put a profile on the website. They are vetted in a sense. They are reviewed by property owners. My wife and I don't even know when we started Airbnb, you know, we've been guests in many places. When I got the job here, I stayed in Airbnb here in Independence in the city of Kansas City. I've never seen a fire extinguisher. I've never seen a fire escape plan. I've done all of this, everything that I was asked to do and was aware to do in the process. I've complied with, and I've gone above and beyond anything that I've seen. I realize the city of Independence, you know, has its thing for regulation, but when I looked this up, I found Kansas City thought they wanted to regulate it a couple of years ago, but they found there were 1,300 Airbnbs in Kansas City, and they can't possibly regulate them. So there is a short-term rental that was shown in the exhibits on Short Avenue, West Short Avenue. That is not comparable at all. That has nothing to do with this situation. I have driven by and looked at that property. That property over there, there are beautiful, large, historic homes on that street on Short Avenue. And then there is that property, 1608, I believe it is, which is divided up into trashy-looking apartments with steps going up. That's degraded that area. So if the commission has approved that, I would ask that you approve my property, which is an upgrade. You know, there is shown on the map, it's a high density residential area nearby. You know, I live in a not fabulous area. As I said, it's not bad. There are nice little houses here, but I'm not trying to divide up into apartments. I'm not trying to attract trashy people, you know, who pay low rent or something. I'm keeping it residential. I'm keeping it one family. I'm keeping it a limited number of guests. I'd have paying guests who are paying for an upscale property and can afford to do that instead of renting out to riffraff at some low rental rate in the area. So,
Mr. Black, let me give
yes.
the commissioners a chance. I don't, sorry to interrupt you, but I want to give the commissioners a chance to ask you questions and answer any questions that they have.
Certainly.
I think dealing with the apartment complex that's there is not something that has come before us. So I know I don't know anything, but that's a different approval process also. So let me open this up. Commissioners, do you have any questions for Mr. Blackwell?
Madam Chair.
Yes. Commissioner Preston.
I posed a question earlier, knowing full well what was the basis for the position of this commission. And this commission has a responsibility not only to the applicant, but also to the guests, as a matter that this property has a commercial use. It is a residence. It's in a residential neighborhood. But once you wade into a commercial and business intent, it is the city's prerogative to stand forth and act on behalf of potential clients. And my question to the applicant is, do you understand why the city has put forth a position as a matter of safety for paved surfaces and in the matter of the property manager when you're out of town? That's a question to the applicant.
Yes, thank you, sir. Well, as I said, no, I don't really understand the safety purpose in paving the driveway. I mean, the driveway is
Do
perfect.
you understand that in every business in the city of Independence and any other city where there's a commercial process, it is a paved surface, it is a paved parking lot, it is a paved access to the business facility that is being carried over into this particular matter, the matter being short-term rental, which has a commercial intent.
Well, as I said, Commissioner, I was not informed of that requirement until we got way into this process. And I invested a ton of money and paid a $400 fee. And then, frankly, you know, this has been a very difficult process that these things
Sir, you've answered my question. Madam Chair, I yield back.
Thank you. Any other commissioners have any questions of the applicant? All right, not seeing anyone come forward. Let me see, is there anyone on this call who would like to speak for this case? Is there anyone on this call who would like to speak against this case? Seeing none, I'm going to see if the commissioners have any other questions of the city or the applicant before I close this public hearing. All right, seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Commissioners, any additional comments? Or I would entertain a motion.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
in the matter of case number 21-400-14 short-term rental at 1511 South Scott Avenue, request for short-term rental, I move for approval with the stipulations as stated by staff.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you, Commissioner Ferguson. Staff, we are ready for a vote.
Commissioner Ferguson,
Yes.
Commissioner Michelle,
Yes.
Is Nesbitt still on?
Yeah.
Okay. Commissioner Preston,
No.
Commissioner Wiley,
No.
Commissioner Young,
No.
Commissioner McLean,
No. Case number 21-400-13 short-term rental has failed. Mr. Black, well, I feel like I understand how much investment you've made and that this might have been a difficult situation. But it has been historically, since we started this short-term process, we chose as a planning commission and council and city council also to do some extensive, and the city to do some extensive research on this and not make some of the same mistakes that other cities have made with short-term rentals. So while the process may have flaws and not be perfect, we feel like some of the decisions that we've made, the things that we have asked we put into the UDO, the things that the city attorney talked about are important to not only your benefit as a business, because that is what you become as an Airbnb, you become a business, but to your guest and also to your giving you a safety net. You know, it's for your liability, really. So I, again, appreciate so much your investment in the city. That means a great deal to us. So we don't want that to go unnoticed. But I do think that we, for the most part, felt strongly that the paved area needs to be done, and having a local, someone who's here to watch the property while you're gone. So I thank you for your time, and maybe you can come back and see us. Thank you. Okay. We don't have anything else. This is crazy. So I open this up for roundtable. Staff, do you have anything for us that we
Madam
need to?
Chair,
Yes.
we did have, I think, at the top of the agenda, minutes from October 26th for approval.
They were approved with the consent agenda.
It was approved with the consent agenda. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome. Anything for the good of the order?
Staff has nothing to add for tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you, everyone, and have a fabulous week getting ready for Thanksgiving. And happy Thanksgiving early.
Thank you.
We'll see you in 4 weeks.